Welcome back to part 2 of email marketing for photographers. Last week, we talked about the benefits of email marketing, why photographers should be paying attention to email marketing, and then some software recommendations for how to get started. This week, we're going to be talking about actually getting people onto that email list and then what to do with them, how to keep them engaged, and what you should be sending every single week. So if you haven't watched last week's video, I will link it above. I'm going to link it in the description section, and I invite you guys to follow along on this email marketing series with me. So you're set up on your email software, you're ready to get your subscribers. How do you actually get people on your list? Well, when I first started out, I thought, okay, I'm gonna start an email list because someone convinced me it was a good idea, which thank goodness that they did. And I pretty much just went on my Instagram and my Facebook and said, hey, I have a newsletter, which I wouldn't call it that if I were you. And here it is, you should sign up. And I thought that would be enough. And I very quickly found out that it was basically just a couple of close friends, my mom, and like my old babysitter from high school. And I thought to myself, okay, we have got to start from scratch and figure out how I'm going to get people on this email list. And so I did a little digging and I found something called a lead magnet. And that's what you need to create. So some sort of freebie PDF email template, download of some kind that you can give your audience that they would want in order to incentivize them to actually get on your email list. And so I've seen photographers do this in a number of ways. I've seen photographers give away a template of a timeline, a guide for what to wear to their session, tips and tricks for looking better in front of the camera, feeling confident before their portrait session. Anything that would help them get closer to a decision for booking you as a photographer is what you need to be thinking in this moment. So I decided to create a lead magnet, and specifically, I was trying to grow a list that would be both potential clients and photographers for my education business. And so between those two lists, I decided, let's create a marketing guide for finding photography clients, and then let's give a what to wear guide to my clients. And this worked so well to get people onto my list, to get them engaged with me and what I was doing, and to really grow this potential audience of buyers that would later become my customers. So the bottom line here is that you need to offer something of value in exchange for your audience's email address information. Now, you know you're not as likely to give your email address to just any website or any person because you don't want to be spammed and you don't want to hear from them constantly. So there is a level of trust that needs to be built in order for you to complete your email address. And I think that it can help if you're giving them something of value. So really think about your potential client, think about what problems they're facing, what questions you get asked, and how you can guide them closer to booking you as a photographer. What could you give them or show them or answer for them that would get them closer? So now that you have a few subscribers, what should you actually be sending them, and how can you engage with them so that they don't immediately unsubscribe? Okay. The first thing you need to do is welcome them to your email list. So you can send them an automatic email, and we can do this using Flowdesk or any of the softwares we talked about in the last video. I'll link Flowdesk down below for you guys as well because I have a discount code for you. But you need to immediately welcome them to your email list, and it's super important to give them some expectations of what they can expect to hear from you. How often are they going to hear from you? What kind of things are you going to tell them about? And why should they stay subscribed? So this is super helpful. You might say, hey, I'm super excited that you're here. I send out emails about once a week, and I'm gonna give you tips for, getting better portraits, getting ready for your portrait session, or I'm gonna send out early announcements just to this email list when I have mini sessions available or something like that. So giving them some kind of exclusive access is also a really great reason and an incentive for them to stay subscribed and not unsubscribe. So I think when you welcome people to your email list, this is really nicely done in a series of emails. This is called a nurture sequence, and this can really easily be done on any email providing software where it sets up automatically to send them a welcome, give them whatever free thing that you promised, and then maybe a day or two later you give them a little more value. You let them get to know you and your company and your brand. And one recommendation that I have is that you send them some of your best blog posts, some of your best content, instead of reinventing the wheel and feeling like email is just going to be this next extra thing that you have to do that's overwhelming. Instead, I like to repurpose content and say, here is something I've already created that was super helpful to my other clients. You may find this helpful as well. So link some of your best blog posts or your best videos, or maybe one of your favorite galleries with some tips for how they could get images just like that inside of that email. So you've gotten people subscribed, you've welcomed them in with a nurture sequence. The best thing you can do next to keep them on your list is to continue to provide value. Now, I email my list about once a week with tips and tricks for growing a profitable photography business, with standing out in a saturated market, and with early releases to all of my products and services. And so think along those lines of what you can do in your photography business to make sure that your subscribers are hearing from you regularly, that they don't forget that they're subscribed to your emails, and that they're continuing to get really good value every time you show up in their inbox. Okay, so I am curious to hear from you. Do you currently have an email list, and how is that going for you? Leave me a comment down below and we'll keep the conversation going. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye, guys.